Hey, Danny here, founder of Songwriters International, where we help songwriters develop their craft to go on and sustain a career in songwriting. Now, in today's video, I'm going to share with you how to transform your lyrics quite literally overnight with changing just one thing. This one thing quite literally changed my career and my lyrics. They've changed thousands of songwriters' lyrics, and they're going to change yours. It's so simple yet so effective, and you've probably been doing it in your writing, but you don't actually realize you're doing it. So let's jump on into this. Now, before we do as well, if you want to book in a one-to-one songwriting strategy call with me where we dive into your goals, your career, where you want to go, your obstacles, then go ahead. That's in the description below. It's a completely free call, and I would love to connect with you and help you with your songwriting more specifically on a one-to-one basis. Now, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, you are more than likely doing this technique in your writing right now, but you don't realize you're doing it. And once you do, then you can go on and use this more. Now, what actually is this technique that can transform your lyrics? Now, it is relation writing. Now, you may not be completely sure what that means, but it's something I've been teaching for years now. I've got an entire training just set on this alone because it can quite literally take your lyrics from good or okay to absolutely fantastic. Now, relation writing, you've got a little bit of a clue of what that possibly means with the word relation, but what is it? So relation writing, in simple nutshell, is where we take a concept or a lyric and we relate it back to something, and it all relates to one center point. So let's say, for an example, we had the word sugar, okay? What relates to sugar? We might say tea. We might also say spoon, okay? We might also say chocolate, right? We're just going to put choc for short. You might also say sweets. And all of these things relate back to this center point of sugar. Another quick example of this, we might say the word rain, okay? Now, what relates back to rain? We might say fall, okay, rainfall. We might also then say water. We might also say sun, because it's an opposite, but it still relates. And that's another technique that you can also use that we're not going to dive in specifically on today, but it's where we can take the opposite of something and then we can expand on it a little bit further. Let's also say tap. Right, and all of these things relate back to the center point, and we can use this in a lyric. So the easiest way I can demonstrate this to you is in some practical examples where we take a lyric and then we go ahead and use this relation writing theme in a section. So here's example one. I hope you can see this clearly, but we've got you play games, okay? So we've got this theme of games, right? You play games, control me with your remote. Turn me left to right all around and then just turn me off. Right? So if you relate back a console, let's say a PlayStation, an Xbox, whatever it is you may have played in the past, and we take that theme, but to be in a controlling relationship, for example. And we took that, we've said the games. So if we actually circle the words that relate, we've got games. Here, we've got control. Okay, we've got remote. We also have this turn me left to right. So we have opposites of lyrics in there, but also you can imagine a remote and it has its sticks on there. You've got all around there. You've also got then just turn me off, okay? All of these relate back to a bigger concept. And what it allows your lyric to have is a theme running throughout. Games, control, remote, left to right, all around and off. And it will allow the listener to actually paint a better picture for your song. Now, into example two, we've got the lyrics. You're so sweet, give me another taste. You always leave me wanting more. You've locked me up, I can't escape. Now, let's have a look at the relation writing. So we've got sweet. We've got taste. Okay? You always leave me wanting more, as well with something that is sweet, chocolate, sweets, whatever. Usually they're quite addictive, so they leave you wanting more. And then we actually change the relation writing theme and we say, you've locked me up, I can't escape. So locked and escape also relate back to one another, right? So again, what we've got is relation writing, but it allows the lyric to paint a bit more of a picture and to have a constant theme running throughout, or in this case it's got two themes in one section. Now here is example 3. We've got never thought we'd break down, waiting on a rescue, there's no one to phone or anywhere to run to. Now if we look at this, we've got the word breakdown, we've got rescue, you've also got waiting, because if you were to break down, you're going to be waiting around, and there's no one to phone. Now, if you break down, you want a phone for a rescue. So we've related back that phone, and also run to, I guess if you've broken down in your car, theoretically, because that's the example that I shared, and I'm going to give you a quick tip on that in just a moment. But if you're in a car, you want to get away from any dangerous environment. So that's why I've gone with the lyric run to. Now, what we've done here, we've taken the concept of a relationship breaking down. And instead of saying something like that, we have fallen apart, we've fallen out of love, where we've taken a very common topic of a song and we just make it generic, like everybody said it before. But what we've done here, we've related back the breakdown of a relationship to needing a rescue, like a car, right? So we've taken the concept of a very generic song, but we've made it more specific to us, and it's a little bit different to now what you will be seeing or hearing out there in the world. And let's just take love for an example for a moment, because love itself is a very common theme that comes up in a lot of songs. A lot of songs out there are a love song, 70-80% on an average, if we might just say. So if we take this relation writing theme and we can go and write a fairly generic song about love, but we can make it more personal and make it different into a way that a listener hasn't heard it said like that before. Let's take, for example, you have found someone that you're really attracted to, right? So you might relate that back to the sweetness and the sugar again, and the rush and the addiction that you get after the first taste and the first bite, right? You can make it different. Or for example, like I've said before, about a breakdown of a relationship, you might relate that back to the theme of a car breaking down. Or you might have a song which is about a relationship and how it goes through, let's say, stages, right? And the stages are when you first meet somebody. So let's say first date. Okay, that's one of the stages of a relationship. The next thing might be the moving in. So we're just going to say move in. The next stage might be children. Right? And for example, it might be that unfortunately, it then goes into a breakup. Okay? Now they're the stages of a relationship. But what if we took those stages and we actually related them back to, maybe you've guessed it, the weather, all right? And you take that and now it becomes different, but you're relating it back to weather. You took that theme of a relationship, how it starts off at this stage and then it goes through this phase, and it's just like the weather, right? So you could talk about the seasons, you could talk about the summer, okay? And that could be the initial point of meeting somebody and how it's so beautiful and it's like flowers blossoming and all of this stuff that you might want to be talking about. And then it goes into autumn or winter or wherever you want to go to from there. And you can relate that back to a bigger theme. And again, it's writing a fairly common topic, a fairly common theme that a lot of songwriters have spoken about before, but you're making it unique to you and you're leveraging relation writing. And as I said before, this is where as songwriters we can become unique and we can become different to everybody else. I've had the question many a time, Danny, how do I write a song about this? It's been done 1,000 times. Well, take this theory. Take this theory for relation writing, take the concept of your song, what can you relate it back to, and make it different to what we've heard before. And using relation writing, like I said, will allow you to become more unique. There's also something else I want to stress here, which is very, very important. Relation writing, okay, if we just put it on there, relation writing. There's a few ways you can actually do this. You can have it as a theme for your entire song. So let's just say it's about a relationship that has gone through these stages and you're relating that back to the weather, right? That's the whole concept of the song. So you're going to use it for the entire duration of the song. It's the backbone that sits underneath it. You don't have to do it like that every time. You might just have it in a verse. Let's say you have a lyric in your song, like, "You are stuck in my head, I can't escape." Right? And you're thinking, oh, I like that lyric. Maybe I could use relation writing just in the next line. I don't need to use it for the entire song. I wish I could find the keys and lock the gate, right? And you're saying that because it relates back to escaping and trying to get this person out of your head. But then throughout the entirety of the rest of the song, you don't necessarily relate back to that theme at any other point. So you can use it for the entirety of a song, or you might just use it for 1 or 2 lines to make your lyrics more interesting in sections rather than the entire piece of the song. So there we have it. That is relation writing. I can guarantee it will transform your songwriting if you go ahead, implement it, and start to understand it and see how it evolves your songs along and makes those lyrics far more interesting, far more impactful, and also far more unique, because that's what we need as songwriters. So go ahead, go and implement this in your songwriting. As I mentioned earlier on before, if you want to book in a one-to-one songwriting strategy session with me where we dive into your songwriting and we can talk about things like this, where we can implement it in, then go ahead and book a call below. It's in the description. If you haven't already, please consider dropping a subscribe for us here at Songwriters International. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you over on another one.